Welcome. I am Hobby Stripling, the campaign manager, and I thank each one of you for joining us on this very special and very historic occasion. I, as each of you, take great pride in being a part of this event. One of the first things that everyone asks me is, how did a country bumpkin, former mayor from South Georgia, become involved in Andy Young's campaign? There are a number of explanations as to how that happened. But quite frankly, I still wonder sometimes why Andy chose me. However, while I am not sure as to why Andy chose me, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt why, given the opportunity, I chose Andy. Simply put, Andrew Young is the best possible person to serve as governor of Georgia. But in my case, there are 4 other very real, very distinct reasons for my involvement. Those 4 reasons are Tripp, Holly, Lynn, and Corey Stripling. They are my 4 grandchildren. You and I owe it to these children that are here in this room today, and to all the other children in Georgia, our children, to give them the opportunity of living in a better Georgia. Andy Young can make that a reality. And with your help, Andy Young will be our next governor. If any of you have your checks in your pockets, you can leave them here in order to make that happen. Now it is my pleasure to present Judge Griffin Bell, our campaign chairman.
Thank you very much, Hobby. I am proud to present Andy Young, a man for whom I have the highest regard. I hope that he will be our next governor. He is able, dedicated to the public service, honest, intelligent, and open. His values are deeply held. They rest on family, truth, justice, and fairness. One of his great strengths is in bringing people together for a common purpose. He is a national and international figure and one of the world's greatest salesmen. He is a man we need to develop the economy of our state, from the smallest town and the most rural county to the largest. In short, to put our state in the front ranks of the nation on an economic basis. Andy Young has served us well since moving to Georgia from Louisiana more than 35 years ago. He was educated for the ministry, and his first church was in Thomas County. The rest is history. His public career began with a high post in the civil rights movement and led to a seat in the Congress. His service there was outstanding, and he was admired by both sides of the House. He served with great distinction in President Carter's cabinet as ambassador to the United Nations, and he and I returned to Georgia at the same time. He then became mayor of Atlanta for 8 years, years of much progress and proven leadership. At no time and in no circumstance throughout this long record of public service has there been a blemish on his record or any question as to his integrity. He has made his mark among the most honest and forthright of our leaders. Andy Young has a wonderful wife and helpmate, Jean, and 4 very supportive children. He will distinguish himself as our governor. He will reflect great credit on us as a people, and his service will be such as to place him among the very best of all who have served us as governor. I know the office well. I have every confidence in our candidate and every confidence that we will be proud of him as Governor Andrew Young.
Thank you very much, Hobby Striplin. And as a former mayor of Vienna and past president of the Georgia Municipal Association, I know why I chose you. I chose you because you represent Georgia at its best. A people of faith who believe that even from a small town in Georgia, you can make a difference in the whole world, and we intend to help you. And Judge Bell, for years, you've symbolized justice for all Americans under our Constitution. As judge, attorney general, and world-renowned lawyer, nevertheless, you've never strayed from the moral and ethical foundation that you received as a boy in Americus, Georgia. And because of your support and your encouragement, I'm here to, well, let me get to that. Jean and I want to thank all of you who have joined us here today, our friends, our family, citizens of this great state, the state of Georgia, our home. You're truly my inspiration. And when I look at you and into your faces and hearts and think about your children and Hobby's grandchildren and mine, I see the dawning of a new day in Georgia. I know that we're all here for one reason. One thing binds us together, young and old, rural and suburban, people from the mountains, the Piedmont, and the Golden Isles. We're all here because we really and truly care about Georgia and the future of Georgia. We're here because we love Georgia, our friendly way of life, our hard-working people, our solid family values, and the traditions which make this state so great. We're here because we believe that Georgia needs a new kind of leadership. Leadership that isn't satisfied with the politics of the past, leadership that looks to the future. And with your help, that's exactly the kind of leadership we're going to provide. Leadership that will protect your individual liberty. Leadership that will protect a woman's right to choose and protect your right to vote for a lottery if you so choose. But I assure you, if you choose a lottery, my leadership will see to it that every dollar made goes directly to education. With the right kind of leadership, Georgia can lead the way. With quality schools for our kids, more economic opportunities, good jobs for every area of our state, and a better quality of life for every Georgia family. That's why today, with great love for our state and its people, and a strong commitment to provide the progressive new leadership that our state needs, I announce that I am a candidate for governor of Georgia. You, the people of Georgia, have honored me with the opportunity to serve. Your hopes have inspired my vision. Your needs provoke my ambition. And your trust has allowed me to grow in grace and in leadership. And your prayers give me the courage to accept this challenge. I began my career in public service some 35 years ago as a pastor in two small churches in Thomasville and Beachton, Georgia. I prayed, I preached, I picked cotton and I cut okra with some of the greatest people I have ever known. When I served in Congress, I helped to fund the building of Georgia's highways, our airports, our mass transit system. I worked to save the peanut allotment for Georgia's farmers and to preserve and protect the Chattahoochee River for us all. As mayor, I filled potholes, collected garbage, slept with the homeless, and stayed up nights patrolling with our police officers. I traveled with our businesses and I counseled with our students. I prayed with our suffering and I mourned with our dying. My wife, Jean, and I have raised our 4 children here. We've taught them the values that we have learned, the values of hard work and honesty, of concern and compassion. We taught them, as my mother and grandmother taught me, that those to whom much has been given, of them will much be required. Over the years, I've learned that we all have a very important part to play in building a better future for Georgia's families. Every parent needs to be involved in education and teaching values, and every person needs to be involved in our communities. I've learned that more government and more taxes are not necessarily the answer. We need to involve everyone. Our businesses, our teachers, our labor unions, our parents, in building a prosperous future. We need to unite our state, urban and rural, rich and poor, disabled and able-bodied. We need to join together in a common purpose to build a better life. Government should play a positive role in bringing people together to solve problems. But government should not dictate or interfere in the personal, private lives of others. Amen. That's why it's so important that on the issue of abortion, to protect a woman's right to make her own personal, moral, medical decision. I don't believe that politicians should be making that decision. I would rather trust the women of Georgia. And you, the people of Georgia, must be trusted to keep your hard-earned money and use it as you see fit, to invest it, to save it, or to spend it. It's yours. You've earned it. I'm opposed to raising taxes. What we need is more taxpayers and not higher taxes. The government must generate an increase in new jobs, in new business and new investment opportunities. Economic development throughout the state is the only way to prevent increases in the tax burdens on homeowners and consumers. And I'm the only candidate who can create the economic growth that will hold down taxes. Okay. Thank you. I have the knowledge, the experience, and the contacts. I'm the only candidate for governor that will ensure that economic development reaches every corner of our state. Legislation cannot accomplish this. Economic development requires personal involvement. It requires hands-on leadership and a strong understanding of the national and international economies. The personal contacts which I have acquired as a member of the Banking Committee of the United States House of Representatives, as the United States Ambassador to the United Nations, as Mayor of Atlanta, contacts that you made possible for me should prove as valuable in helping Hawkinsville and Waycross, Macon and Savannah, as they have been in helping us here in Atlanta. But economic development is more than tall buildings, and it's more than big projects. It's the family farm. It's the shops on Main Street in Coolidge and Willacoochee, the country inns in Dillard and Noonan. And we must explore creative financing for small business and the single-family homeowner, just as we have assisted in the financing of airports, underground Atlanta, and high-rise apartments. As we move into the 1990s, we can see that Georgia is uniquely positioned to become a true leader in our nation and in our world. But to meet that goal, we need new leadership, strong leadership in the state capitol, experienced leadership that moves beyond the status quo, and that offers a fresh approach when it's needed. We need leadership that brings people together and moves Georgia forward. And that's why we've joined together in this statewide effort to work for all of the people of Georgia, farmers and firefighters, teachers and small business owners, laborers and professionals, senior citizens, and most of all, our children. As many of you know, my wife and my daughter are teachers. But my mother and my grandfather were also teachers. Education has been our family's investment of choice, and it has brought us great dividends. Andrea is a lawyer, Lisa, an engineer, Paula, a teacher at Slade Elementary School in Carver Homes. And Bo is just beginning to show his potential as a junior in high school at Benjamin E. Mays High School. But education must be the priority for all of Georgia's citizens. I want all of the young people of Georgia to know that if they are willing to work hard, we will see to it that they are prepared for the jobs of the future. They will have the tools they need to achieve their highest ambitions and expectations. And they will have the jobs and opportunities that they deserve. No one will be more committed to education than I. Better schools are also part of the long-term solution to our drug problems, our prison problems, our welfare problems. An estimated 80% of all prisoners in our jails are school dropouts. Keeping our kids in school is one of the keys to keeping them out of jail and off welfare. And the cost of education is a bargain when you compare it to the cost of prison and welfare. And we're also going to have to crack down on crime and drugs. We can't allow the destruction of our young people or this threat to our families to continue. But it's not the kind of thing that we can do piecemeal. We need a comprehensive approach. We need tougher jail sentences and prison space enough to be sure that drug pushers serve their time. We must be able to say in Georgia that if you commit a crime, you will do the time. We need adequate funding for our brave law enforcement officers. And we need stronger law enforcement tools, which can only be provided through strong leadership at the state level. We need more extensive drug education and drug treatment programs. And we need more emphasis on the prevention of drug abuse so that we can truly reduce the demand for drugs in our society. Our small towns and rural counties must get help from the state. And they must have cooperation from the larger enforcement agencies of our cities. No county lines or city limits can be allowed to protect criminals from the enforcement of the law. And while education is one of the keys to protecting our young people from drugs, it's also the key to our economic future. Georgia needs a well-trained, well-educated workforce to compete in the high-tech world of the coming decade. A world that Georgia will only be a part of if we begin now to bring new investment to our state. From Hazelhurst to Hahira, from Waynesboro to West Point, we want to bring new jobs and economic opportunities to this state. And working together, we can do it. We can bring economic success to every city, every small town, every household, and every corner in the state. New jobs in Georgia will keep our cities and towns alive and allow our children to build a prosperous future for themselves and for their children in their own hometowns. New jobs, good jobs, will keep our proud communities strong and productive and ensure that Georgia is a state where our children and grandchildren will make the American dream come true. Any business person will tell you that Businesses locate where there are quality schools, hard-working men and women willing to put in a good day's work for a good dollar paid, strong family values, and an environment that's revered and protected. In Georgia, we have been blessed with talented people and abundant resources. What we lack, what we need in the 1990s, indeed what we must have, is strong progressive leadership in state government. We need a leader who will keep our taxes down and our educational levels up, and keep looking to the future, because the 1990s present Georgia with an opportunity to become a leading exporter in the world, an opportunity which will ensure that all our working families can provide for themselves and their children. Carpets from Dalton and Calhoun, pecans from Albany, kaolin from Sandersville, onions from Vidalia can all be transported through our deep water ports in Savannah and Brunswick, and through our airport in Atlanta, and along our network of interstate highways and major railroad lines to markets throughout the nation and throughout the world. In the past 8 years, we've proven what hard work, leadership, and people working together can accomplish. We've created $75 billion in new investment and almost 700,000 new jobs for Georgia. That's more than the figures of jobs and investment for the entire European community during the same period. And I know that working together, we can do even better in the future for every part of Georgia. With our strong tradition of Southern hospitality, a smart, efficient government with low taxes, a hard-working population, which is our natural resource, and a natural climate, an environment for which we can only thank God, Georgia can be the state that leads our nation into the 21st century. As we embark on this campaign to bring progressive leadership, new leadership to our state government, I ask for your support, your time and your energy. Beginning tomorrow morning and throughout the next few months, I'm going to travel to every corner of our state, visiting with and listening to the people of Georgia. I want you to get to know me. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll find that we share the same basic values like family and faith, and that we share a common vision for the future. I think you'll find that we share a desire for new leadership and a new and fresh approach to state government. Too often, political infighting has held us back, and I believe that we can learn to work together. Indeed, we already have. And with your help, that's exactly what we will do. I know we can because we believe in Georgia. We expect the best from our people and from our state. We believe in the potential of Georgia. A lot of folk never thought we could lead the nation in economic development, but we did. A lot of folk never thought Georgia could become a major convention center and communications and transportation center for the nation, but we have. A lot of folk never thought we could win and host the Democratic Convention, but we did a wonderful job. And there's still a lot of folk who can't believe that Georgia can actually host the Olympics, but we will. Georgia has always exceeded expectations. We've never let the naysayers hold us back. And this year, we won't let them underestimate Georgia. With your help, with bold leadership and compassion and a vision, Georgia is going to lead the nation and the world into the 21st century with progress and prosperity. We'll build that future, a future that you and I and mostly our children and grandchildren can be proud of. We've made impossible dreams come true in America. Indeed, this country itself is a miracle come true. But we in Georgia are only beginning to move to the forefront. The future calls us. The past has prepared us. And the present challenges us to work together for the good of our entire state. Thank you, and God bless you. And God bless the great state of Georgia.